What's up, traders? This is Matt with Conservative Trades, ending the day up over $255.74, and I feel all right about it, guys. I don't feel too good about it, and I'll tell you why in a minute. Those of you who are in the live stream, you know why, but it is good to be ending in the green. Don't get me wrong, and there wasn't a ton of trading today, so I probably really only spent. I'm thinking about $60 maybe in fees and commissions. So we're up basically $200 on the day. And that means that we've essentially covered 20% of the loss, almost 20% of the loss that we incurred on Monday. So if you guys have been paying attention to the channel this week, you'll know that I had a pretty devastating loss on Monday. And it was just out of making just foolish and been boneheaded moves in the market. So I was not trading my strategy. I was not doing well. I admittedly let the emotions or my emotions get the best of me on Monday, and it's something that I rarely ever fall prey to. But it is a great reminder to me that no matter how good I get at trading, no matter how long I trade, I am always susceptible to falling prey to my own worked up emotions over trading and when taking losses that I really didn't want to take. And so anyway, guys, the fact of the matter is we're doing all right today. And today was actually a really, really good day at one point. I wish I just kind of stopped trading at this point. But at one point today, ZM, and I called it, ZM was tanking, and this was the stock that I was watching as it opened up. And as a matter of fact, ZM is the stock that took a lot from me on Monday. But you can see here, I got in. Well, first of all, in pre-market, I was talking about this a little bit, and what I was looking at was these levels right here. So ZM had reached a high, and it had a major sell-off yesterday morning. We had a nice run-up, and I noticed that it had this trend forming. So I actually drew this trend line yesterday, and I came in post-market hours and saw that it was breaking, and it had been bought all the way up to these levels right here, right? Roughly around 220. So it had been bought up all the way to these levels, but then had a massive sell-off, and then a massive spike up, and a massive, even more massive sell-off all the way back down to where it had sold off yesterday morning. So right now, this told me, okay, first of all, if you're looking on the daily chart, ZM is highly overvalued. Now it is sitting at all-time highs, right? But this is what we were looking at this morning. This candle hadn't formed yet, mind you, and it just looked like, wow, we could make a pullback all the way back to this 9 EMA, and that would have been a respectable, legitimate pullback, right? And so I went ahead and got in on this trade this morning when I saw that in pre-market it tried to climb up, and it almost kind of double topped here and couldn't get up and just sold way off down here to previous day close. And it started making its way back up, but when the market opened, it started selling. And as a matter of fact, if I reduce this to a 1-minute chart, we'll see, or maybe even if I can get a 2-minute chart here. Let's see if we can. So you can see, it's going to be hard for you to see actually. Here, I'll just see if I can back it up here. If you guys can see, as it started breaking down, I went ahead and got in and I went short. And I took off some of the shares here, and then when it snapped back, I got out the rest of my shares there, right? But then I noticed that it was doing what? It was triple topping with pre-market levels. I saw it and I called it. And as it started coming back down, I jumped right back in with about 100 shares right here. Went short here, and then I went short again at the break of 209. And then I took profit here, took profit here. It kind of teetered around a little bit here, and I noticed it was going to go short again, or it was going to drop again. So I went short again, got out here, and then as it bounced up, I got out some of my shares here. Reason I got out is because it was touching down perfectly on this trend line that I had drawn yesterday. So it had basically tapped down perfectly on that trend line, and I even said it. You can go back and watch the live stream. It is posted to the channel. You can see where I was in here trading it, and I said, this trend line, it might find support here. Now, I was still hopeful that it would continue to break down and have a huge sell-off because of how extended it was, but ZM, it can never surprise me. It can never surprise me. And as a matter of fact, it came up here. So at VWAP, I thought to myself, this could just be a nice little pullback here to VWAP. And then it broke up through VWAP, and I got in again some more shares here because I just thought, I'm calling it. I said, this once again. Look at how badly it sold off yesterday morning, and then it had an earnings beat, and the post market hours came all the way up, and then got the sell off all the way back there. Like, what are the odds that this is just going to get bought up like hotcakes today? So I took a stab at it, and when it came down here, I got out some of my shares, and then I got out more here. Well, at that point, I waited for it to come all the way up here, and I went short, and then got out here. And then as it finally curled back around, I noticed, and I even said in the chat, I said, it's probably going to double top around this buy up area in after the earnings beat in post market hours yesterday. And sure enough, it did. It kind of double topped with that area, came a little bit over it, but then ended up coming back down. And so, the fact of the matter is, and you can see here, I tried to go short a couple more times. It was really struggling here, and I thought we could get a move down, but it started to go up, and I actually flipped my position here. I actually flipped my position by accident, and I got out my shares here and then went long here, and then I took profit here. So that was a good move. Again, it was purely accidental. And then here I went short here, averaged in up here, and then got out here, averaged in again here, and then got out here, and then got out here as it came down, and then got out the rest break even. So guys, ZM at one point today, I was up on ZM. I was up almost probably right around $500. And that's why I said today's a good day, but it could have been so much better. I gave back so much money on ZM. It wasn't funny. It wasn't funny because even with my losses in the day, and huge is another one I'll go through with you guys here. But even with my losses on the day, I was still up at one point over $450, and I just gave a lot of it back. And so I'm just very, very regretful of that. But nonetheless, trying to look on the bright side here, it's a green day, and it's a good green day. This is not a bad deal at all, especially with, how many commissions or how little my commissions were on the day. So I'll take you over here to Huge. Huge is a stock that I actually started getting in on here in pre-market. It had the makings to push, and as you could see, it did start pushing. And I got in here, I got out some of my shares here, and then I added once again here. Well, then it halted in pre-market. It halted in pre-market, okay? And that just kind of blew me away. But apparently it opened all the way up here, and I just missed it. I was too busy trading ZM. So then it got a flush down here, and then it got a flush down here. And you can see it the next time that the halt opened, I got out. And I ended up being up at one point on Huge. I think I was up. I could have taken profit. I could have taken probably close to, I don't know, $200 off the table. And I was already up like $50 on it from this first take profit here. So, this day actually could have ended up being maybe a $600 or $700 day. But this is how it goes with trading sometimes, though, guys. This is just how it goes. So you can't really predict these things. You just have to trade the best that you can, and mitigate risk as best as possible. Mara, this is another one. This is kind of a boneheaded move, but it looked like it also had the makings to make a pretty good, solid move up. So I just got in here, 400 shares, and I put a real quick stop here. So lost $32. It was very little risk. I was fine taking that because I figured if this breaks over the 200-day moving average, and if this makes, if this ends up being one of those dollar stocks that goes up to, $3 or $4 on the day, I'm going to do really well. So it was plenty to justify the risk. So I'm very happy how I handled that trade. I just, even though it didn't work out in my favor, guys, it's not about working out. It's not about it working out for you in your favor. Sometimes it's just about you managing your risk. Okay, good traders aren't traders who can be green on every trade. They're traders who can be green on most of their trades and know how to cut their losers, which is opposite of what I did Monday. So, but anyway, I felt very good about that trade. It was just 400 shares on a dollar stock, so no big deal there. and we went over ZM, UAL. UAL was just kind of one of these ones where I just got in for pullbacks. And I tell you guys all the time, this is one of my number one strategies. I wait until they've had massive run-ups. You can see how much this ran up. And then finally, I started averaging in with small share size, just 100 shares at a time. It had built up all the way to a 300 share position, and as it dropped back, I got out some here, I got out some here. It came all the way back up here, and I went ahead and got back in short here and took profit down here. Okay, and then I waited for it to come all the way down here. You can see this was my last take profit right here with that little green circle there. And then same thing here, just got in for some quick scalps. Again, it had a major run up and it passed the high of day. And I just thought this is a good spot to get in and take a quick little scalping short. It was. Got about I don't know, maybe like a 12-cent move off of that, so not bad. And then same thing here, took a little profit here and then ended up stopping out the rest of my shares here. So you can see, guys, that the pullback strategy works. You want to be extremely careful with where you wait for it to pull back. Anytime that I take these pullback moves, the first indicator, the first signal that I'm going to get in is this move has already made a massive move. And if you think about it, where the market opened here at 9:30 at roughly $30.75, this came up all the way. So from $30.75, it had already made basically, it was on its way to making a $2 move. Okay. And so the other part of it is averaging in small enough to where you can keep averaging in. I could have averaged in all the way up to here and then some if it had kept going, and I would have built a big position, probably a 600 share position. Then when we got the drop, I would have either at least been able to get out break even. If it just still looked like the stock was strong and wasn't going to work, I'd at least be able to get out break even, maybe even take a little bit of a loss. But if it looked like it was dumping pretty hard, you can do really well on building a position that way. But you want to be smart about it, and you want to be careful which stocks you try to do that on. Not every stock is going to give you those pullbacks. We're going back to ZM on the other day. Now ZM did give me a pullback. I just didn't take it, and that was my fault. Again, that's why I call it a boneheaded move. It was not good trading on my part, because at one point before I ended up down $800 and some dollars on ZM, there was one point that I could have taken a $70, $80 scalp on it. And I just didn't. I did not trade the strategy. Here you can see I traded the strategy. I didn't wait for UAL to dump all the way back down to VWAP. I took, I took or averaged up on the shares, and I took them as soon as they started coming back down. Made a nice little profit on it. You can see between that run and then this time, and then these are just two little scalping trades, and they probably almost cancel each other out. But you can see we're ending up over $100 on UAL, basically just off of these two moves here, and maybe a little of this move up here. But anyway, it's a solid strategy, but you got to be careful with it. And then NVAX was an interesting one today. NVAX started to drop, and I actually went short here. I waited for this massive pullback, and I don't know why. I don't know why I got out here. Again, it was just one of those things where it could be that with taking the losses that I took on the day after losing out on ZM, or after ZM kind of came back and it kind of crushed me and took basically $300 of my gains off the table. It just might have been, I might have just been a little bit too nervous with this pullback on NVAX, but the goal originally was to start piecing in here and then all the way up to VWAP. But I don't know, guys, I just got nervous. So I took some of my shares off here, but then the rest of them rode down here and I got out here, and I wish I would have waited for it to continue to get crushed. So I just didn't trade NVAX well. That trade basically paid for itself, and then I probably made enough to go buy a Red Bull or something. But NCLH was another one, and that was just an accidental trade, honestly. I'm making a lot of accidents this week, guys. But I got in short here. I was thinking that I was averaging into my UAL trade, but I was on NCLH, and it was just a boneheaded move. But nonetheless, I profited, made a quick $10, so no big deal. Overall, like I said, we're ending the day up, so this has been a pretty darn good day. I'm pretty satisfied with it. But again, I really wish I had just taken the money and run on ZM. I had no clue that this was going to happen, but I shouldn't be surprised, and I should have been more prepared. Okay, I definitely could have been more prepared for all of this. and I could have managed my risk a little bit better. What I should have done, and probably what I will look to do next time, is once we got, it's one thing to get a poke through VWAP and then slam back down, but once it starts racing up through VWAP and past the previous candle, the previous 5-minute candle high, that's probably when you need to get out. And I probably should have just gotten out there and just waited for ZM to come all the way up here and meet this double top here. I probably should have just waited for it to meet the double top, because this, you can see, this was a really nice move. And if I had waited and then started averaging in here with just, maybe 50 shares at a time, we could have gotten a good move all the way back down to these levels. That could have easily been $150 to $200 move, maybe at best, we'll say. But anyway, guys, you live and you learn, right? I mean, that's what trading's about. We have to learn. We have to learn from our mistakes. If we can't learn from our mistakes, and if we can't come back in the market, with a fresh perspective and ready to follow our trading plan and stick to the rules, then we're not going to be any good at trading. Okay, so we have a great opportunity here to do a lot of damage to the markets. We have a great opportunity to come in here and make money and take money from the markets every single day. Like I said, the month of May for me was a phenomenal month, and June's going to be a phenomenal month. I have no doubts that, Lord willing, anyway, we'll be able to make back all of our losses from Monday and then some more. I'm just going to continue to come in here. I'm going to continue to stick to my rules, stick to the trading plan, and if you'd like to be a part of it, consider joining us. So I tell you guys in every video, we live stream right here on the channel every day, Monday through Friday, beginning roughly around 9 a.m. And would love to have you guys. If you're new, consider subscribing. And to the rest of you guys, to the rest of the regulars, very much looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow. Have a great night. Take care.